Hi guys, and welcome to my channel, and thanks for stopping by and watching. In this spray paint art video, I'll be trying out the Molotow Coversall Acrylic water-based spray paint to see what it's like for spray paint art. So the Molotow Coversall Acrylic water-based spray paint comes in a 400ml can and has a soft vary valve system. It comes with an orange dot fat cap. The lacquer base is water-based acrylic. It has a matte finish and there are around 89 colours in the range. And the price per can may vary depending on what country you live in. In the UK it's around £5.60 a can. And the colours I'll be using are Signal Yellow, Signal Red, Signal White and Pure Black. Right, before I go any further, I'd just like to say these are my own thoughts and findings about how well the Molotow Coversall Acrylic water-based spray paint works for making spray paint art. Right then, the first thing I'm going to do is a cap test to see how the cap sprays. So I'll be using the stock cap that comes with the cans in this video, which is an orange dot fat cap, and I'll be doing the cap test on a 4-inch wide piece of glossy card. Right then, before you use the cans, make sure you give them a good shake for about 2 minutes each. And when you get them, there'll be a plastic cap on them like this. This is only there to protect the cap so it doesn't spray everywhere while in transit. Right then, so to get the caps off, they're sealed round here, so you have to pull them down somewhere hard and then just give them a tap to break it. And then they pull off like that, so it leaves the colour around there, the bit of plastic, so you know what colour it is in the cans. So I've already done these two, so I'll take the caps off, stick them to one side. So I'll be doing the cap test with the black spray paint. The ring broke, it was already broke when I received the can, so I'll be taking that off for this. But it also says what it is on the top of the can as well, printed on. So like I said, I'll be doing a cap test with the black spray paint. This is the first time I've used the Molotow Coversall water-based spray paint, and it's the first time I've tried a water-based spray paint. So I'm not sure how it'll work or how it'll come out, but give it a go and have a look. So I'll just pull some of the black through into the cap. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a cap test on this piece of glossy card here. So the cap produced a wide line about 3.5 inches wide. It did let quite a bit of paint out as well, but that's expected from a fat cap as it lets more paint out and the lines are wider. So I'll just give you a closer look at what the cap produced, the line. Now the cap test is out of the way, I'm going to see what it's like to paint with. So for this space painting, I'll be using glossy card, which is A2 in size. I'll also be using some plastic lids. These are just off food tubs, the lids, different size ones. I'll be using a palette knife to sign my work with. I'll be using a metal paint scraper. I'll also be using this food tub, which is a cone shape, and I put a hole in the bottom. And also I'll be using some plastic sheets to make the texture up on the planets and in the painting. This is just a plastic bag that I've cut up so it's easier to use. So the first thing we're going to do is do the planets. So we'll get the lid stencils and place them on the sheet where you want them to go. So I think I'm going to have them there like that. Now I'm going to use the yellow to do the outline, so just bring some paint through the cap. Like I said, it's the first time using a water-based paint. have a look what it's like, the valve system. Quite soft. With a fat cap, produces a big burst of paint. If you press it light, smaller. Quite like that valve system on there. So now we've done the outlines, sprayed round the lids, we'll take them off for now, place them to one side. So what we'll do now is fill the outlines in with some colours. So I'll use a yellow, do this big one first. Nice coverage on as well, comes out nice and smooth. Now I'll use a red. Also I've got a problem where got damaged in transit, the ring, so I'm going to have to take this ring off. Just pour some paint through. Take a bit to get used to this, these cans. Bit of black. And then some white. Full of white through. Like I said, the fat cap produces a more burst of paint, so it covers a bigger area. So now we'll get the material we're using to make the texture. So I'll be using a plastic sheet from a bag that I've cut up, so we'll just crunch it up a bit to get some texture in it. And place it on the paint and give it a light rub. I'll just put a bit more edge, dab it in. Bit more, bring a bit more yellow through. Put a bit there. Try and bring some of this black out a bit. So I quite like the texture on that one. So now we'll add the highlights and shadows to it. So with the white we'll add the highlight first. So we'll see what it's like for misting. See, with the fat cap, it produces a wider line of paint. So as you can see there, as it comes out, you have to get, the closer you get to it, the smaller the line will be. Too much white on there, I think, so I'm just going to go over with the yellow a bit. See, if you're fast and you move, it gives a good nice mist. So that's a highlighted area. Now I'm going to do the shadowed area. I've got to make sure I pick the right paints up now, without these two having the colour things around them, the colour rings. I nearly picked the red up then. So black on the shadowed area. That black's coming out nice, like that. Just press the cap down lightly there, got a nice smooth flow of paint. So now we'll move on to this one here, this planet. Get some red. So you press the cap down hard, and it nearly fills all out with one spray. So So now the yellow. Just cover it all, I think. And then, I think for this one, just going to do it all black. Might just add a bit of white over there to the top. And then we'll do a texture on it. So crunch your bag up a bit. Or whatever material you're using. Place it on the top. Give it a light rub. And then peel it off. Quite like that one texture on there, so I'm going to leave it like that. Also, with a fat cap, it does produce a lot of paint in one spot as well. So just got to be careful you don't put too much paint in one spot, and the paints might start mixing together. So now we're going to add the highlights and shadows to it. So with the white first. Now with the black for the shadowed area. See, if you move pretty fast as you're spraying it, comes out a nice mist, nice smooth. The lines aren't too wide either. But you've got to move fast as you're moving, spraying it. So last one I'm going to do is this one here. So bit of yellow, bit of red, bit of black, and some white. See, quite a lot of paint's gone down there, so the white isn't sitting on the red. It's kind of separating just a bit. So let's try this one with my finger. I think just let's give it a slight rub, see what it does. I'm going to add a bit of yellow to that. Bit of yellow on the top. Just a bit more yellow. Sorry about that, guys, my camera turned off and I didn't notice. So all I did to finish this planet off was I just sprayed a bit more yellow on the top and then just rubbed my fingers back and two over it to get this pattern on it, get this texture. So now I'm going to add the highlights and shadows to it. So with the white first, just going to add a bit there. We've just got to watch out on these two plants here, you don't get any overspray on them. So I'll do for the highlight. Now black for the shadow. So there the highlight and shadows done on the planet. So now it's time to put the lid stencils back on. But ideally you want the paint to be dry before doing this, because if the paint's wet and you put the lid stencil on, the lid may stick into the paint, so when you take it off it'll leave a ring round your planet. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and place the lid stencils on while the paint is still wet. So we'll do the big one first. So get your lid stencil, place it on the sheet, make sure you cover a bit of the shadowed area and the highlighted area. So I'm going to have this one here, then the next one. And have that one there, and the last one. There. So the paint's still a little wet, so I'm expecting a bit of a lid to stick in places. So now we have the lid stencils on, it's time to do the background, add some colours to it. So first of all, I'm going to give it yellow. So you press the cap all the way down, quite a lot of paint comes out, and it covers quite a lot of the sheet. I'll move on to the red. And a bit of white, I think. Just try and do a thinner line. And I'm going to cover that with the black. Just make sure when you get close to these lids, the lid stencils, that you spray a bit lighter so you get no leaking underneath your lid stencil. These caps do let a lot of paint out. It's quite thick, this paint is there. So I'm going to get some of the plastic bags that are cut up. I'm going to make some texture on it, like a galaxy or something. So just place it over the top. Just give it a rub, the same as you'd do if you were doing a planet. Texture on the planet. So pull that off. So I like that there. There is quite a lot of paint there, but it's come out pretty well. So I think I'll get the black now. Fill the rest of the sheet in black. Just remember, spray it a bit light around your lid stencils. One thing I am finding with the paint is, I don't know whether it's because it's water based, is the glossy card seems to be crinkling in places. So I'm expecting, because I put no weights or nothing on these lids and they're just sitting there, I'm expecting some overspray to go underneath the lids on here. I'm not sure whether you can see it on the camera, but it is lifted in places. Card in the middle, there's like a bump here where the card's like creased itself. So I'm not sure, I've not had this happen before with any other paint, so I'm not sure whether it is a water based paint or not. I'll see at the end of the video. We'll carry on with the black now. So I'm just going to put a bit of black there, on there, and there. So I'll get the red, I think, first. See what it's like for misting. I'm just going to put a bit of red up here. Quickly do it, get a bit of a mist. Nice bright red that is. Right, so leave that for now there. I'll get some white, I think. I might do something down here. Something down here and something up there, so. Get the white, and I think I'll just go. Bit of yellow. See, with it being the fat caps, like I said, it produces a lot wider line than say you were using a skinny cap. Put a bit of black on there, I think. Not much. I'll get some plastic. Make some texture. Yeah, these fat caps are laying quite a bit of paint out. So I think I'll do is just tidy this up at the bottom, so get a bit of black. Red, bit of red. Try and press the cap real light, see what happens. It's also I'm not used to the caps. Like I said, I've not used these cans before, or the cap, so it will take a bit of practice getting used to them. I'll just cover a bit more in black, tidy it up a bit. I'll just do something up here. Even pressing the cap down lightly, it still produces a wide line. But like I said, the closer you get to the painting, the thinner the lines will get. So if you're up here somewhere, you'll get a wide line like that, say, and then if you're down here, you might get a line like that. But also, if you get real close to the sheet and do a fine like that, you might have a big build up of paint in just like one area. So we're back to the black. Just tone that down a bit. So now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do a star in the middle. What I'm going to do is a colourful star, I think, so I'll test what these are like for doing like a kind of dot. So first I'm going to use a red. So I'm going to hold it about a foot above the painting, 12 inches or something. See, it produces a big wide spot there. So I don't really like that, but the good thing with spray paint, you can always cover it up. So I'm going to give it another go, see what it's like, press it a bit lighter. Might get a bit closer for this, say about 6 inches. So that's a bit smaller, that one. So I'm going to get a yellow, try and put a bit in the middle. We'll have to get a bit closer to that. But can you see what I mean about a fat cap? It produces a bigger circle. So when you're spraying it, like for the background or doing some misting and that's most probably as wide as the line will come out. And that was from about 6 inches high. So now I'm going to try and do a bit of yellow in the middle. So I'm going to get a bit closer, about 3 inches. It's not bang in the middle, but it'll be alright. I wonder what it'll do if I go high up. I think I quite like that actually. I'll just put a bit more red in there. Just like trial and error when you're painting. It's up to you what you put in your background. Because I've never used these before. Just try a few different things. I like how that is. So I'm going to get a bit of black, I think. Just try and tone the red down. I was going to put a star in the middle of this, but I quite like that how it is. So I'm going to leave that, I think. Just the red and yellow. I'm still going to do a star, just to see what it's like for making stars. Just decide where to put one. I think I might just put one here, I think, in the top. So what we're going to do is get the white paint, white spray paint, and the metal scraper. And what we'll be doing is we'll be spraying the white into the middle there, so the overspray will be making the lines for you, for your star. So I'll do one here. So like I said, you're going to be spraying the white into here, into the middle, so the overspray will make the line. So the paint come out with a bit of force then, so as it hit, as it did the second spray on the line, it hit down and splashed it off onto the painting. But that doesn't matter, these small dots, because they do look like smaller stars. So I'm going to do the other lines. See, look at it bubbling there. 2 sprays on it, and it splashes of paint everywhere. I'm not sure whether that's the water-based formula. Like I say, it's just getting used to it. They take a few goes to get used to the caps and cans, whichever ones you're using. Because each brand of paint is different in pressure wise, adds different caps. So it's just a case of learning the pressure and how the caps work and that when doing things. So it does like to bubble, this paint. I don't know whether it's because it's got paint underneath from other paint and it's reacting a bit, or I'm not really sure. Oh, I'm going to do this again. Might be the paint, the other paint that's on here. Oh, let me just pull some paint through. Well, that was close. Nearly dropped all the paint onto the painting. I think I'll just do this one more line. So it ran off, that did. As I sprayed it on, it ran onto the sheet. The pressure of the paint coming out of the can pushed it off the scraper onto the paint there, onto the painting. So if that happens, all I do is, you can get a piece of sponge and then just dab it lightly where the paint's come out and just soak a bit of it up. It will leave it like that, will mix the paint up a bit, but then at least you haven't got a big white blob on your painting. But you can cover most of that up when you do the middle of the star. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the middle of the star there. So what we'll do is get the white paint and we'll be putting a middle in this star now. But I'm not sure whether these caps are going to do a small enough white dot in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a try on this piece here where I did the cap test, just to see what it comes out like for doing dots. I don't know why it's coming out like that, funny shaped. Let me just clean the cap. So clean the cap. If you press it real light, the cap, does come out. Comes out pretty fine. Might just give it a go actually, see what it's like. Press it real light. Like I said, if it comes out too big, you can always cover it up and do another one. So I'm going to get pretty close to this. Just going to press the cap real light. So that's come out not too bad considering we're using a fat cap on the cans. So what you could do here, you could extend the lines a bit to make the star bigger. I think I might just do that, to be honest. So I'm just going to hold it a bit above it. Make sure if you are doing these and you're using a fat cap or something, or you get a build up of paint on here, I normally clean these every time I do one of these lines, especially if you're using a fat cap or a cap that produces a lot of paint. That way it eliminates anything dropping on the painting. I think that'll do for the big star. Come out alright, not too big, the middle isn't. So when the lines are quite nice. Did get a bit of splattering, but that was just going for a second like blast for the line. And he was hitting the paint already on the scraper and then just splashing off in places. But like I said, that's alright because they look like smaller stars. So now what we're going to do, we're going to move on and do some smaller stars. So with the white, we're going to spray some onto our fingers there. Like that. So spray some onto your fingers. Produces quite a lot of paint. And this is bubbling on my fingers. So I don't know whether you can see. Can you see it bubbling there? I don't know if it's supposed to do that or not. Not sure. It's first time using it. And the paint, it does seem pretty thick paint. So what you want to do once you've got some white paint on your fingers is flick it a few times away from your painting so you don't have a big build up of paint on your fingers, and then you'll put big blobs on your painting that don't look like stars. So it is pretty thick, this paint is. Not sure whether it's going to produce nice stars. Like I said, this is new to me, this water-based paint. Not sure how things will turn out. Seems to dry pretty fast on my fingers, and the paint that's already on there is coming off as well when I flick my fingers. So I just got to watch that. So I'll put a bit more on there then. But the paint was already on there. Not sure if you can see. If I'm getting onto the painting, it soon dries. Goes like a chalky paint. So when I was flicking it off my fingers, some of that was coming off as well and landing on the painting. So let me just wipe my gloves. it's almost all come off. There's a bit there on the painting that's come off my glove. Bit of dry paint. Bit on that lid there. Bit there in the painting. Bit there as well. But like I said, it's just getting used to the paint and the paint you're using. With it being something new, you come into problems like this and you figure out how to do them. So I have a small star's done, so now I'm going to get the cone shaped food tub with the hole in the bottom. I'm just going to do some bigger stars in places. I think I'll do a couple of coloured stars. I might do one here, so with a red. I'm going to hold this about 3 inches above the painting. We're just going to spray the paint straight into the cone. I'm going to add a bit of yellow to this one, I think. So this, get a bit closer, try and get in the middle. Oh, just hold on. This paint's come out pretty thick. It's blocked the bottom up, blocked the bottom of the hole up. Let me just give that a clean off with a sponge. It is pretty thick paint, this is, especially coming out of a fat cap. Well, I've cleaned the bottom of that up. So, as you can see there, it's come out of the bottom. But I'll cover it with a bit of yellow. Put a few yellow ones, I think. I'm going to have to get a sponge in here, I think. Clean some of it out. Because it's just going to drip everywhere. It's dripping now on my fingers. I haven't had this happen before with paint. But like I say, it's something new that I've tried. Right, so that's all the paint out. It's quite a lot on that sponge, quite wet that is. So I'll just keep that to one side. So I'm not going to do many more of these. I think I might just add a few white ones here and there. Put a white one here. The white doesn't seem to come out as runny as the coloured ones. Just going to try yellow again, I think. Just put a yellow one there. Yeah, I'm not going to do any more stars with this. Just run straight out of the bottom. So, leave that. So now I've added all the stars to the painting, it's time to take the lid stencils back off. So, take this one off first. So like I said, the paint was wet when it went down, so I'm expecting it to be stuck a bit. So it was stuck slightly, but I think that plan has come out alright. So I'll go on to a smaller one. This one's stuck a bit more. As you can see there, where it's stuck, it's pulled almost all the paint up there. And then the big one, that was a bit stuck. Right, so there the lid stencils off. And I'm really happy with the way the textures turned out on these planets. I like them all. Just a shame about the lid sticking here. There, and pulled all the paint off, so you can see the glossy card underneath. I've never had that happen before. And also, here, just got a bit of overspray that's gone underneath the lid, the black, onto the planet. But to avoid this, the lid sticking, just make sure they're dry, the paint, before you put your lid stencils on. Then this wouldn't happen. And also make sure it's dry, and when you put your lid stencils on, to avoid this, the overspray getting underneath the lid, you can put some weights on them to hold the lids down. But you've got to make sure that paint's dry before putting your lid stencils on, because if you're adding weights on top of them, it'll push the lids into the paint even more. So if the paint's wet, it'll just dig deeper into the paint, and most probably have deeper rings. It could end up like this. You could end up with a white ring all the way around your planet. So like I said earlier on in the video about the paper creasing, there are some creases appeared in here a bit more now. So got one here, bit of a bulge there, bit there, some there, couple around here, and there's one up there. Could be the formula of the paint. It's gone into the paper a bit, and then it's just lifted it up, like creased it a bit. You know, like if you put water on paper and it creases, it's done that. But that might be just as it's drying out. It might go flat again once it's completely dry. So there's no bulge on this planet, and that's completely dry. There's nothing there, and there's nothing here. So I wonder if it's just because the paint's still wet, or it hasn't dried out fully yet. So I still like how the painting's turned out, and I'm quite happy with it, considering it's the first time using water-based spray paint. I quite like it. So now the painting's finished, the last thing to do is sign it. I would normally sign it with a palette knife, but I know this is already dry here, nearly dry, so the palette knife won't work. If that happens, you can get a white marker pen, white paint pen, or whatever you have that's white, or whatever colour you want to sign it, and then just sign your name on it. So I think the Molotow Coversall Acrylic water-based spray paint worked well for spray paint art. The oranged off fat cap that came with the cans worked well. It did let a bit too much paint out when pressing the cap down with a bit of pressure, but with a bit of practice with the cap, you'll learn how far to press it without releasing too much paint. If I was going to use a Molotow Coversall Acrylic water-based spray paint for spray paint art, I think I would use a skinny cap on the cans. This way there'd be less paint coming out and would be more easier to control the flow of paint. The paint also dried fast, which can be a good thing. The soft vary valve system gave a good control over how much paint came out when pressing the cap down with different pressures. It may just take a bit of practice getting used to the pressure and the caps you were using, and how far to press the cap down when doing different things. But overall I enjoy painting with the Molotow Coversall Acrylic water-based spray paint. The only thing I do different next time I painted with it is to use it on a canvas. As with it being a water-based formula, it seemed to soak into the glossy paper and left like ripples in the painting. But apart from that, I really liked how the painting has turned out. I found it nice to use and the colours I chose were nice too. And also, just remember to take your time, enjoy what you're painting, and let each layer stage dry before moving on to the next. Right, so I'll give you a closer look of the painting, but as you can see, there's a crease here appeared and here. As the painting's drying out more, there's a couple more creases in there. I'm not sure whether you can see them on the camera. And also, if you did get a lid that's stuck like this here, you could always go back with a bit of black because it's on the shadowed area and spray over it again. That just means you'll have to put some more stars or something in the background. It just depends where you go in the background, whether you go back over it with black paint or not. It's entirely up to you. So like I said, I'll give you a closer look of the painting. See, the back of this card feels wet, so I think the paint soaked through into the card. So this paint may work better on a canvas. I still like how the painting turned out. So I hope you found the information in this video helpful and enjoyed watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for stopping by and watching. I hope to see you all in the next spray paint art video. Have a great day, take care, and bye for now.